Well, good morning, everyone. Time to rise and shine on this Thursday morning. I'm Channing Curtis.
And I'm Tim Pham. We have a lot to get to today, but we're starting things off with a look at your weather forecast first. Meteorologist Thomas Patrick joining us now in the Weather Center. So, Thomas, it's a little cool this morning, but things will warm up a little bit later this week.
Yeah, and this weekend is looking like our nicest days of our upcoming forecast here. We were just talking about this behind the scenes about the skiing situation this upcoming weekend. Is going to be the final weekend for our area ski resorts that are still open, including Silver Mountain that you see over my shoulder here. It still looks like a pretty view, but yeah, that snow is loosening up, and we've been seeing a lot of snow melt in the last couple days, even though it has just been a little bit warmer compared to some recent days. Back here at home, it's 30 degrees, a little bit of some high-level cloud cover starting to move in, but our temperatures, yeah, right around that 30-degree mark as we hit the 7 o'clock hour. But sunshine to start the day. And once again, we'll be tracking a few scattered showers later on this afternoon.
Breaking news overnight, an abortion pill will remain on the market for now following a ruling by a federal appeals court.
But there are some new limitations. So last week, a Texas federal judge suspended FDA approval for the abortion pill. Now, the Department of Justice filed an appeal against that ruling. A federal appeals court in New Orleans put a hold on the Texas judge's ruling until the case can be heard further. Now the pill will no longer be available through the mail, meaning that an in-person doctor's visit will be needed to get the prescription. It will also only be available for the first 7 weeks of pregnancy. This ruling will likely not change the availability of the drug in Washington state, as last week a federal judge in Spokane blocked any changes to the drug's availability in 17 states.
This morning, the new downtown stadium is coming to Spokane. It is still in search of a new name, though. Spokane Public School Board members met last night to discuss some of the option. And KREM 2's Brandon T. Jones is live at the construction site of the stadium. Brandon, it seemed like there were a lot of options on the table. Do we have an idea of what it will be called?
Well, Tim, it looks like we may be inching closer to what eventually the stadium behind me will be called. But every single day when construction starts to look a little bit more complete, there still is that thought hanging over about what will the stadium actually be named. In that meeting last night, it was discussed, and before a name agreement can be completed, they have to come to an agreement as well. That's the Spokane Public Schools and the Public Facilities District. The two sides have been in partnership throughout this entire process of building the stadium. SPS provides the funding for the stadium, and the Public Facilities District provided the land, parking, and will manage the facility once it opens. As the two sides try to figure things out, the Public Facilities District has come forward with a recommendation. They and the United Soccer League, who will be playing here, are in favor of calling it the North Bank Stadium, presented by a Kalispel tribe of Indians or Northern Quest. One problem with that, Spokane board members aren't sure they agree with that name.
I would agree that North Bank wouldn't be my first choice.
I'm not comfortable with Northern Quest Field because Northern Quest, we know, is a casino here.
So much of the hesitation board members have stems from the naming criteria we told you about a little bit earlier this year. In that criteria, they say the word Spokane should be used in the stadium name. They also say it's a sponsor that can't necessarily be used because industries associated with alcohol, tobacco, or gambling were not in the criteria. The naming criteria also states that if a Native American tribe is considered, the PFD must consult with Kalispel, Spokane, and Colville tribes. So far, they've only met with Kalispel. So at this point, there's still some work to be done before a name is officially announced for this, and there hasn't been a timeline on when we'll officially know about that name as well. Reporting live in Spokane, Brandon T. Jones, KREM 2 News.
Well, this morning, 3 teens are in police custody accused of stabbing a man on the Monroe Street Bridge Tuesday night.
Well, the man was released from the hospital and shared his story with KREM 2's Janelle Finch.
Better luck next time.
Jeremy Root says he was the man who was stabbed and robbed on the Monroe Street Bridge Tuesday night.
I dealt with the 5 people armed with knives by getting stabbed by each of them individually.
Root was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. He walked away from the attack, but his scars are a reminder of the pain he felt.
I felt everyone going.
Spokane police say the stabbing was reported just after 8 p.m. Police arrested 2 16-year-olds and 1 14-year-old in connection to the crime.
Like, they're just maliciously doing dumb and getting caught up for it too.
Root says 5 people stabbed him. If that's the case, some of Root's attackers could still be out there. That possibility is what scares Jennifer Burton.
Out here, like, you never know, anything can happen, with how the world is today, like, it's just scary.
Burton says she saw Root after the stabbing. She's thankful his injuries weren't worse.
If he would have gotten, to the point where, like, they ended up killing him, because I don't know what I would have done. It's just, I've lost a lot of people.
Root, Burton, and Shantae Cole are all a part of a group that live on downtown streets. Cole says even before this crime, the group has always had to watch their backs.
We can't sit, we can't breathe, we can't eat, we can't put a blanket out in the grass and enjoy a picnic like everybody else because we're deemed homeless. So that's a target.
Cole says the group's housing situation doesn't make them any less human or deserving of any violence.
We've been through life, tragedy, and trauma. We didn't ask for this. And if we're sleeping, what crimes are we committing? Why are we getting arrested out of sleep? Why are we going to jail? But yet these kids get to run the streets and own everything that they want.
3 teens were arrested for first-degree assault and robbery. Police say the investigation is ongoing and additional arrests and/or charges are possible.
Well, happening today, Mayor Nadine Woodward, the Spokane Police Chief, and the Downtown Precinct Captain will be holding a press conference today at noon. They are set to talk about the rising crime in the area and the steps they are taking to combat it.
An emergency declaration is in place in Stevens County for severe weather and flooding. Creeks that started as small trickles now look like rivers as rainwater and runoff flow through the region. Fire District 2 volunteers are now keeping an eye on Hunter Creek, which is coming close to flooding homes, businesses, and even the fire station.
So with the colder temperatures overnight, the water levels did not come up. They went down just a little bit, but we're still really close to flood stage.
Volunteers are monitoring things for now and preparing sandbags if necessary. Fortunately, the forecast looks like they'll escape a more serious situation.